Hello everyone, hope you're doing great and welcome to the last video of this series in which I'm explaining about this patch, the Dodecaphonic Midi generator, and today we are gonna talk about some general aspects of the patch, some improvements that could be done, and applications in which I've been using it for. So let's get started. The first important thing here is a general view. As you can see, there are 5 groups, 5 general systems of this patch, which are the set generator, the division group, the note generator, the pitch generator, and the dynamic generator. I think from my point of view that from these 5, the most important in this patch is the note generator, because it sends the bang to the division, the dynamic, and the pitch generators. Because of this metro, the metro starts and it's like the heart of this patch, and that gives us a macro view that could be done to other things, because if I take out this metro, the patch will not work. But if I take out the dynamic generator, the patch is still gonna work because it's sending the nodes. And if I take out the nodes, and for example I put one single number, it will still continue working. So that's why I think this node generator, it's the most important part of the patch, and that's something interesting to know, because if I'm working on it in future improvements, with which I've been done, I will show you later, but this helps you on visualizing if I'm doing some changes, where are the important parts of it. Think about it as a body. Yeah, you can cut some things, but there are some others that are the most important of the body. And for example, you can take a leg, but you can't take the heart. So think about just like a body, a human body. Well, from other animals too. But that's one important thing to know. The other... yeah. These systems can be used for another project. That's another important thing. And I was saying that the generator is the most important thing. Just to give an example, this can be done, this can be used for another project that needs a metro. And that's something very useful to know, because instead of, if I'm doing another project, instead of going again to a metro and that's things, I can use this patch. I can put here, I will put P metro generator, and I could copy this here, and I need, well, the inputs in 1, in 2, and why does, well, you get me. And you can use it here in another project. In fact, let me show you. Here in this patch, I've used the node generator here. You can see the pad here and here, and this is triggering the notes. Let me show you a bit. If I turn it on, it's click ignore. No. Well, as you can see, this is an example. Let me turn that off. Of how you can use these systems in another ones. I'm not gonna explain what is doing this, just is for another video. But the idea is that you can reuse the systems that are important or that you think that are important. That's one aspect of it. Let's come back here. Okay, improvements. The pitch. First of all, the pitch. Here right now, the expression here is the note plus the octave. And that gives us with a problem because it's because the offset till the last note is A. All the how do I say it? The system or the set will always be in A. Even if I move the octave, the lower note will be an A. And that's a problem because in the higher register, it's gonna go from an A to a C, to a G sharp from here. In the if it's not randomized the octaves. But what if I want to move the notes so that the lower note in a fixed octave would be an F or a C or a B? Well, in that case, this expression doesn't work for this purpose. So that's one thing that could be improved to add basically an offset. And the other thing is that when you turn the random mode, if you move or if you put the lower octave too high, the randomized note will be going even further of the limits of the piano. That is from this note, that it's a 108. So that's another problem. There should be a way to create a limit and to say, okay, maybe another possibility is to create an expression that put the system between a range. And you can say, instead of starting from the lower note and then calculating the numbers, could be done that that the edge is the middle note of the set. Because the set has 12 notes, the middle note would be a 6 instead of being the 0. And in that way, you can control the extension of the set starting from the middle. That's one possibility. Then the other thing to improve is the duration of the notes, because it's fixed here in the make note, this 100 is the duration. That is, think that this is in milliseconds. So it's 100 milliseconds, so it's very short, and that could be improved. The other thing is a range of velocities, because here the problem is when there's a fixed velocity, because there's a drum and it's always varying or creating steps, it can go higher or lower than the defined velocity. I will put an example. Let me put a bang here. If suppose there's a mezzo forte here, in mezzo forte, and I set it to 75. If I start going, we'll start moving and moving, and you can see that it went from under 50, that it's a piano, but I'm still wanting to be a mezzo forte. So that's the problem, that if you are starting from a fixed velocity, it can go higher or lower than the defined velocity. That's one problem. That's the possibility that if I wanted a fixed velocity, that it remains between the boundaries of that fixed velocity, and that it doesn't go higher or lower. So that's one thing to fix. And the other two improvements is to generate another scales, because here we are using all the notes. It's a dodecaphonic set with the original, the retrograde, the inverse, and blah blah blah. But maybe I want to be a minor scale or a major scale or another scale, something exotic, or a scale that it's not even in the standards of the Western society. And what if I want that? Well, that's a thing to add. And the other is to add polyphony. Just being some intervals, like play together a third or a fifth or a seventh, or to create chords that goes along with the melody. And currently in this mode there's only a monophonic, because it's only playing notes. And for that, let me show this is the old version. I'm working on a new version, sorry, and it looks like this. And this has covered some of the problems that I mentioned, because it has the durations. This is not automatic, but legato. This is the legato form. It has a fixed duration, and you can put a range of the duration. Again, here, take an example. I've used this generator of the set, and I apply it to here, to this to the velocity generator. It's the same system, but I've applied it to the velocity. Not to the velocity, no, sorry, to the durations of the notes. That's one way to say. And I've added some presets that you can even morph between them with this. So you can see here between the 1 and the 2, you can see 50 and 80 and 60 and 800. And if I move it here, it will go from 50 to 800. And it goes, because the presets are from 1 to 15, and this slider is from 1 to 15, and it's floating, it sends a floating point, so it goes from every point of the presets. And that's really nice, because it creates more variations. And the other thing is that I've added an automation button that change the presets in a fixed time. And that's really nice. It creates a lot of different textures. And here I can start working on an algorithmic generator that starts to create some interesting music. Again, I need to put some melodies or a chord generator or something like that, but it's a next step. Let me show you what is sounding. No, I added the volume, and now you can see the meter and the volume. Well, let me show you. Here. Okay, here you can see why I put the next note and the duration of the notes, because if I put the legato, you can see that the next note will be the same as the duration of the note. That means that when the note that is playing finished, then it plays the other note. But when I put it to fixed number, the duration of the note doesn't necessarily will be the same as the next note, the time of the next note. And that gives me a lot of control. That's very interesting. And the same is with the range. If maybe I doesn't want a fixed duration, but a range of the duration, and yeah, the notes will have a range of the duration between a minimum, and the range from the minimum to the next step. Well, then if I change the preset, and what happens if I turn the automation presets well, and that's that. As you can see or hear, now it's starting to become musical, and that's really interesting. That was what I was looking for. So that's with the part of the improvements, and now with the applications. Well, this is one application to start generating an algorithmic music, or just to create a passage. Maybe you want, this is for this sounding is just for a terror part, maybe, or a suspense. I mean, this is really interesting. Think, I mean, imagine a scene here. A guy is in the woods, alone, in the dark. It just creates the atmosphere. And it's great. And I'm not playing anything. I'm just turning on the machine. Then you can export that. Well, you know, it not only can generate music, but it can gives you ideas to start working on. That's the important thing. And with that, I'm using this generator to create music for a short film, which I cannot show you what's like, but I can show you the work here. And that's the idea here. I took it, I sent it from the patch of Max, I output it to this Midi. Because I'm using a loop Midi, I just connected the output of the Max to the input of the Reaper. And then I recorded the notes, and that's it. You can hear here the music wants to represent a person that is struggling to get to a place. And the music, or the idea with the music, is to create a mixture between the notes of the piano and some drops of water that are coming from the shower. Because this scene, the scene where is the music, it's in the bathroom. So I will play you this part, and you can hear an example of the Dodecaphonic Midi generator being used in a specific case, which is in my case to create a cue for a short film. Okay. Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, if I didn't had the patch, I wouldn't come up with this idea and to start putting all these notes and even putting this kind of craziness in these notes. And yeah, the the important thing here is that with the Well, yeah, here. With this patch, you think about it as another tool to start composing or to create music or to get some ideas. Yeah, I think that I've covered all. Let me see if I have my notes here. Polyphony, yeah, and yeah, okay. Another thing from here is that from this new patch is that I've changed the position of the piano roll. Instead of sending the notes, I'm now using it to receive the notes because I want to show the notes here, and I'm creating the notes with the make note, and now you can see all the notes that are being played, not only one at a time, but all of them, and with their fixed durations. Yeah, and put this. Increase the range. Yeah, it's a really nice touch. So yeah, in this way, I think that we'll be finishing this video. Thank you so much for staying tuned to all this series of videos. I hope that you've learned something and that you came up with new ideas, and maybe it inspired you to create your own patches. If you have some questions, don't hesitate to comment in the video and I will try to answer you as soon as I can, because now I'm very busy at the moment. But yep, with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.